Ah, yes. Happy birthday, Bob.
Thank you very much. Mike Manson there on the vocals. We're the Déjà Vu Drifters. Right from here in Duluth. I actually grew up just about 4 blocks from here.
Happy birthday, Bob.
We thought it was going to be raining today, so we put this song together for you. No rain. Buckets of rain, buckets of tears. Got all them buckets coming out of my ears. Buckets of moonbeams in my hand. You got all the love on it, maybe I can stand. I've been meek and hard like an oak. I've seen pretty people disappear like smoke. Friends will arrive, friends will disappear. If you want me, honey, baby, I'll be here. I like your smile and your fingertips. I like the way that you move your hips. I like the cool way that you look at me. Living without you is bringing me misery. Little red wagon, little red bike. I ain't no monkey, but I know what I like. I like the way you love me, strong and slow. If you want me, baby, I go. Life is sad, life is a bust, and all you can do is do what you must. You do what you must do, and you do it well. I do it for you, honey, baby, can't you tell?
The helicopters are coming for us already.
They're sending in air support, I guess. I thought it was that motorcycle that went by earlier. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming out here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon at Bob Dylan's front porch on his 75th birthday.
I was young when I left home. I've been rambling around, and I never wrote a letter to my home. To my home, Lord, to my home. And I never wrote a letter to my home. It was just the other day I was bringing home my pay when I met an old friend I used to know. Said your mother's dead and gone, baby sister's all gone wrong, and your daddy needs you home right away. Not a shirt on my back, not a penny on my name, but I can't go home this way, Lord, Lord, Lord. I can't go home this way. to my home. From them trestles down my old Jim McKay. Used to tell them all sometimes when I see them riding blind, gonna make me a home out in the wind. In the wind, Lord, in the wind. Make me a home out in the wind. When I pay the debt I owe to the commissary store, I will pawn my watch and chain and go back home. Go home, Lord, Lord, Lord. I will pawn my watch and chain and go back home. I've been rambling around and I never wrote a letter to my home. To my home, Lord, Lord, to my home. And I never wrote a letter to my home. To my home, Lord, to my home. And I never wrote a letter to my home.
Thank you. That was Greg DeBersey there from Hibbing, Minnesota. He made the reverse Dylan. He went from Hibbing and he moved to Duluth. Figure that one out.
We had a little nicer day than we did 5 years ago. We did the same thing here. Only it was raining, a little cold. We were dancing just to stay warm. So, nice to have a great day.
That's right. Here we are. Bob Dylan's birthday. Here's one that Bob wrote for Woody. I'm out here 1,000 miles from my home. Walking a road, ain't a minute gone down. I'm seeing your world, people and things. Your paupers and peasants, princes and kings. Hey, hey, Woody Guthrie, I wrote you this song. How funny your world, and it's coming along. Sick and it's hungry, it's tired, it's torn. It's like it's dying, but hard to bit more. Hey, Woody Guthrie, I know that you know all the things that I'm saying many times more. I'm singing this song, I can't sing enough. 'Cause not many men done the things that you done. Here's Cisco and Sonny and a lead belly too. And all the good people travel with you. Here's to the hands and the hearts of the men. Come with the dust and on with the wind. So I'm a leaving tomorrow, but I could leave Thanks a lot, everybody. Déjà Vu Drifters here. We're going to bring up the
Thank you.
entourage out.
Do we want to start the program now? Keep going. Okay, well, we got plenty of songs here. We can play all night if you want us to. Okay, all right.
And when we're finished with all the Bob Dylan songs, we know we're going to do Prince songs. No, I'm just kidding.
they might be getting ready to start the program now, is that correct? John Bushey. Anybody? Who's running this show here?
You are.
Somebody step forward. John, there he is. Come on.
Check. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me out there?
Use the middle mic.
All right, my name is John Bushey. And I'm with I do the Highway 61 Revisited radio show at KUMD. That probably means you haven't heard it. I want to start with a quote. I thought I'd shake in the wonder and phantoms of my youth. Rainy days on the Great Lakes and walking the hills of old Duluth. There was me and Danny Lopez, cold eyes, black nights, and then there was Ruth. Something there is about you that brings back a long forgotten truth. Bob Dylan, 1975. I apologize. Hang on. I'm sorry. Hello?
It's Bob.
No, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. I can't talk, I'm in the middle of a press conference. Yes. No, to you guys, thank you for all that you've done. But I called you earlier, yeah, no problem. Okay, thanks. Have a good one, bye. Sorry. All right. Today is, I should add that today is also Maya Jensen, the program director at KUMD's birthday, and that was her. I'm not joking. So, that actually could have been very funny. Anyway, in 2006, a second attempt to honor Bob Dylan was made in this town that he was born in by the city of Duluth and by a very small group of individuals. It succeeded in naming a 1.8-mile cultural pathway through downtown Duluth from the depot ending at the National Guard Armory, where young Robert Zimmerman saw Bob Dylan, became Bob Dylan. He actually saw Buddy Holly there perform in 1959. We succeeded. Bob Dylan Way. 3 people were largely responsible for Bob Dylan Way. One was the late County Commissioner Steve O'Neill, who did so much for so many. He was a friend of mine and a friend of many of you, and we all miss him dearly. The second was Don Ness, and Don is here today, and let's give him a round of applause. And the third was someone else who's done a great deal for Duluth, but he was then City Councilor Don Ness. And let's give him a round of applause. Thanks to these 3 men, Duluth has Bob Dylan Way, which was the start of what we celebrate today with this festival. So thank you. And also, what do? We're here to honor one of the most influential Americans of the 20th century. Someone who was born in that hospital about 3 blocks away, St. Mary's Hospital. He spent his first 6 years in this house. Someone who went to Nettleton Elementary School, which is about 1 block away. Someone who moved and grew up in Hibbing, Minnesota. And after leaving Hibbing by the age of 21, was writing songs like A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, Masters of War, Blowing in the Wind. And since then, he's written over 600 songs and influenced generations of musicians and even popular culture. As I said, one of the 3 people that helped get Bob Dylan Way started and start all this is here. Don Ness has done a lot for this beautiful city after becoming a councilor and during his time as a councilor for this beautiful city that we all love. And I'm honored to introduce him to come up and say a few words about this event. Let's welcome Don Ness.
Well, thank you all very much for coming out on this beautiful day. It's part of the Hillside Experience. So this is a very special day. 75 years ago that Bob Dylan was born here in Duluth, and again right here in this home. And I just want to thank those that have kept the connection between Bob Dylan and Duluth alive, and John Bushey is certainly one of those people. Bill Pagel, who has restored this home, this beautiful home. You know, I grew up on 9th Street across 6th Avenue and would walk by this home on my way to Washington Junior on a regular basis when in junior high. And then one day, a few years back, I saw somebody up on the roof and breathing new life. And it was only at that point that I realized that this was the home that Bob Dylan grew up in his earliest years. And it meant so much to me that somebody was very intentional about recognizing and honoring the historical importance of this property and kind of lovingly restore this property and give it kind of the rightful treatment that it deserves. There is much that our community has done to celebrate the connection of one of the great artists of our time, and there's much more that we can do going forward. So I want to thank everybody who's had a part in Dylan Week and continuing this great tradition and celebrating one of the truly great artists of the 20th and now 21st century. Thank you.
And thank you, Don, for all that you have done as well. And again, our next speaker here, current city councilor, Joel Sipress, who's probably, I would venture to guess, probably the biggest Bob Dylan fan on our city council. But let's give him a big round of applause for being here today to commemorate this special occasion. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much, John, and thank everybody for being here. I want to thank the Duluth Dylan Fest committee for their work on this and everything they've done. Thank the Déjà Vu Drifters, who are always great to hear. And thank Bill Pagel for everything he's done as well. I mean, I can't tell you how much of an honor it was to be asked to speak at this event. And I really racked my brains. I tried really hard. I thought I should say something profound or clever or maybe even enigmatic. But I couldn't come up with anything, so I figured I'd just say a few words about what the story that started here 75 years ago meant to me, a kid growing up just outside New York City in the heart of the New Jersey suburbs. Because I was raised in this town in New Jersey where it had been a farm town, and then in the 60s they stopped raising crops and they started raising subdivisions. And as you might imagine, it was there wasn't a whole lot going on, I'll put it that way. And from a really young age, music was my lifeline. It was my absolute lifeline. My mom was a folkie, so I grew up with Judy Collins and Peter, Paul, and Mary, and her hero, Pete Seeger, of course. And then in junior high, I discovered rock and roll, and I was listening to BTO and Bad Company and that sort of stuff. And then my mom came home one day with this record, and she didn't go out and buy new records very often, so this was a big deal. And she brought it home, and it was Blood on the Tracks. And that, for me, an 11-year-old kid in suburban New Jersey, that record was like a revelation, an absolute revelation. I remember listening to it. I remember reading the liner notes, and of course at age 11, reading those liner notes, I had no idea what Pete Hamill was talking about. It meant nothing to me, but it was cool. And then in high school, you didn't buy that many records. I don't see that many young people here, but I know we all know back in the day, you had to be really careful about what you bought because it'd be, a couple hours work at minimum wage to go out and go to the record store and bring that thing home. And so when I brought home my vinyl copy of Highway 61, that record got played over and over and over and over again. And I just share that story because I want to point out that for everyone like me, there are thousands of people, probably millions of people who are touched in a really profound way by Bob Dylan. And that really is worthy of this honor. Someone who can touch so many people in such a profound way. But I just also want to say a word about I think another kind of significance to this day, because I think one of the things that this story that began right here really shows is that creativity and genius is found everywhere. You never know where you're going to find it. Right here in the hillside, later on up in Hibbing. Who would have known? Who would have thought? You know, for all we know, a couple blocks from here, there's another young kid who 75 years from now, our descendants are going to be having a ceremony for, but it might not be here. It might be in Cloquet, or it might be in a small town in California, or it might be in Brooklyn where my parents grew up. Who knows? We never know where creativity and genius comes from. It just can be found everywhere. But what we can do, which I'm really proud of about Duluth, is what really matters, and what we can do is we can encourage it, we can foster it, we can celebrate it, and I'm so proud to be part of a community that has done so much in the time I've lived here, which is now over 20 years, to celebrate the arts, to cultivate the arts, to elevate the arts. Because in this community, we are surrounded by artists. Artists are not this sort of special category of people who we put up on a pedestal and we say, wow, you're the artist. Right here in this audience, I'm looking around, I know that we have people here, they earn a living one way, and then their passion is their art. And that's why this community is so vibrant and so wonderful and has so much going on, because we embrace the arts, we celebrate the arts, we cultivate creativity, we cultivate genius right here in this community. And to me, this day, this commemoration to me is all about that. So thank you to everyone, not just for making this day happen, but thank you to everyone for making Duluth the kind of community where we elevate and celebrate what this day represents. So thank you very much. And we're going to bring back up John Bushey.
Thank you, Joel. We have one more speaker, but first, I just want to say thank you to my friend Bob Horvath. I don't think he's here, but Bob Horvath was a lifelong worker in Duluth with cement, and he is the one that used his professional expertise to help us get this marker installed that we'll be unveiling in a few moments here. And also, of course, I want to thank Visit Duluth. And I'm just wondering, how many of you are I'm just curious, how many of you are related to the band? Not very many hands go up. Few, like two. Okay, one. All right. This goes to show something. It's not a bunch of relatives of the band here. How many people are from Duluth? All right. How many people are from the Twin Cities here? There. Look at this. Does anybody come farther from the Twin Cities? Where from? Back there. Where? Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Wow. Anybody from farther than Oshkosh? London, England. London, England. A winner. Hold it. Where?
Visalia, California.
Visalia, California. Japan. Dallas, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spent days here in this wonderful home with all the work that Bill Pagel has done. I've spent days here. Sometimes when Bill's not here, I sneak and I crawl up on the... No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes I spend time up there and I've just watched the street. And literally, almost every day during the summer, somebody drives by. Sometimes they get out of the car. Sometimes they just roll the window down and they take a picture. This is an internationally known thing that Duluth has. And I'm very proud that in the past we have had a couple of gentlemen from Japan standing on that porch. This will no longer happen. Thanks to, in part, our next speaker. Our next speaker is a gentleman that has been so kind and involved. He's an artist. We have a couple of artists here. Also, there's a great show right now. Mr. Botkin is here, and he's got a show at the Red Mug Coffee House if you get a chance to check it out. Runs at least the rest of the week, right?
Yeah, Sunday morning I'm taking it.
Sunday morning he's taking it down. A lot of great art. with the Bob Dylan theme, but also the artist that we're going to introduce right now is a gentleman that was responsible for largely putting together the project and then doing the actual casting in cast iron of the 3 Bob Dylan themed manholes in Duluth. And he designed and cast the marker that we're about to unveil. And so let's give a big round of applause to Duluthian David Everett.
Thank you. I'm glad to see so many people here. And I'm very honored to be part of this whole thing, part of the Bob Dylan legacy. It all started out as an idea about 20 years ago for the state quarters. And I thought it'd be really cool if Minnesota had a 2-headed quarter. And then I read the rules and it wasn't allowed because he was a living person. So I put it in the bank, turned it into the manhole project, and now here it is. Cast it in November at the University of Minnesota, where most of us might know that Bob Dylan spent his very short college career. Thank you very much.
And I'm going to throw something in here. Don Ness and Don Ness, the 2 people that started Bob Dylan Way. Could they please just go forward and do like an official unveiling of the actual marker here? And let's give them another round of applause, along with the late County Commissioner Steve O'Neill, for really kind of getting the ball rolling in Duluth, honoring its native son, Bob Dylan.
Ready?
Go. There we go. Cast by David Everett. It's like a coin. It says, "In Bob we trust." It's got Bob Dylan's name, and it says birth home 1941 to 1947. It's been a lot of work putting that all in. Thanks to everyone involved, the Bob Dylan Way Committee, and I think right now would be an appropriate time.
Let's sing happy birthday.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to get to, Zane. I'm on it. Zane wants us to sing happy birthday. And see if you could lead us in that.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Marc Dylan. Happy birthday to you.
All right, we want to thank everyone. I also want to just, thank everyone that did come from out of town, no matter how far or no matter how close. And the Duluthians that came out, thank you. And people like my friend Teresa from the Twin Cities, Marc from the Twin Cities. Marc is going to be emceeing a great party later tonight. For those of you that don't know, if you don't know, I imagine the people from out of town probably know because they're probably here for this. But there's a CD release party for an album coming out tonight entitled "Bringing It All Back to Duluth Des Dylan." It's got Dave Simonet of Trampled by Turtles performs the Dylan song. Trampled by Turtles, another local favorite. It's got Charlie Parr on there with the Devil's Flying Machine. It's just got all kinds of well-known Duluth musicians. There's going to be, 19 bands and artists tonight, Marc? At 79 cents a band, which means $15 to get in. It's at the Rex, downstairs at Fitger's, and it's going to be an absolute blast. We're going to have all local bands playing the music of Bob Dylan.
Going all night.
It's going all night, Marc said. So we are here to celebrate Bob's birthday in full. We have events the rest of the week. You can check them out. There's the exhibit at Carpel is open the rest of the month. But thank you for coming. We do have some punch and some cake. If anybody wants a piece, check out the marker. We'll be around, so let's sit and get to know each other. And thank you all very, very, very much. And back to a little bit more music by the Déjà Vu Drifters. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Well, thanks a lot, everybody that came from so far away. That's really nice to see. Thanks very much for putting this all together, Bill and John and Don and Don and everyone else that had a part in it. Well, we are the Déjà Vu Drifters, and we're going to do a couple more before we all head out.
God said to Abraham, give me a son. Abe said, God, you put me on. God said, no. Abe said, what? God said, you can do what you want, Abe, but next time you see me coming, you better run. Well, Abe said, where you want this killing done? God said, out on Highway 61. Georgia Sam, he had a bloody nose. Welfare department wouldn't give no clothes. He asked poor Howard, where can I go? And Howard said, down, there's only one place I know. Sam said, tell me quick, man, I got to run. Yeah, Howard just pointed there with his gun. Said that way down the Highway 61. Said King, I got 40 red, white, and blue shoestrings. I got 1,000 telephones that won't ring. What can I do with all these things? And Louis the King said, let me think for a minute, son. He said, yes, I think it can be easily done. Just haul 'em on down the Highway 61. Seventh night told the second daughter that things weren't right. My complexion, she said, is much too white. He said, come here, step in the light, honey. You're right. Let's tell the first mother this has been done. But the first mother was with the seventh son. They were eating smoked trout on Highway 61. Said I never engaged in this type of a thing before, but ooh, I think it can be easily done. We'll just put some bleachers out in the sun, have it on Highway 61.
Down the road.
That's right down the street from here.
Congratulations, David. Thank you for a job well done. We're glad we got a pro and did it right.
All right, we have another sing-along to end off the festivities, our portion anyways. We'd like you all to sing along on this with us. They say everything can be replaced, shining. That's your part. From the west down to the east. Any day now, any way now, I shall be released. They say every man needs protection. They say every man must fall. Yet I swear I see my reflection someplace high above this wall. And I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, any way now, I shall be released. Yonder next to me is in a lonely crowd. A man who swears he's not to blame. All day long I hear him shout so loud. He's crying out that he's been framed. And I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, any way now, I shall be released. And I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, any way now, I shall be released. Any day now, any way now, I shall be released. Thank you very much, everybody. Happy birthday to Bob.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, folks.
Thanks a lot. We're the Déjà Vu Drifters. Like to see you again sometime. Bye-bye.